field is ready. Just about set to go for this opener for the Gold Cup 1993. They look at the flag, and there is the green. It is Lawson and his Benito tank line car out in front. As Lawson leads and pushes a little bit in the turn, look at the cars begin to gather up here. Lawson and the teammate in the 15X, Billy Boat, run 1-2. Here comes Sills on top. And Sills roars into the number 2 spot. In traffic, Sills working to the high line. Sills works around 2 cars, now split between 2 coming down the front stretch. Boat's trapped there. Here comes Sills trying to get to the top of the racetrack. On the back stretch they go. Jimmy Sills charges into the turn. Boat may be trapped. Off the corner they come. The white flag is waving. It's going to go to the final lap. The final run here in Chico, a quarter mile from the distance. Down the back stretch they go. Sills doesn't get the break. He's off the racetrack, and Billy Boat looks like he's headed for victory. Down to the checkered flag. It will be Billy Boat, followed by Jimmy Sills. 13:2:12. Pretty good time based on what we've had here in the past few weeks. And better yet at 12:9:09. 1:2:9:09. First round for Kent, 12:8:34. And a 12:6:40 is your fastest lap so far, Steve Kent. Kading, of course, owned this place this year, scoring 10 victories. Won the Mini Gold Cup, went on to win regular season, NARC, Golden State, just about everything he was in. 12:9:99, 1:2.999. The Wild Child on the gas at 13:4:06, 1:3:4:06. Hod's going to have to pick it up a little. And 13:0:80. 13:0:87, 1:3:0:87. Good round. Greg can better it. He could be in the top 4 or 5. He gets out a little too high, though, in the 4th corner. At 13:0:06, 1:3:0:06. Sammy Swindell in the Tri-C Machine 3C car. 12:9:20, 1:2.920. Third fast time for Sammy. 13:500, not a good lap for Kinzer at 1:3.500. So he tries to get down to the bottom and find that moisture over here in 3 and 4, but the car just won't respond. Here he comes now down the front stretch at 13:4:48. Going to be a long weekend for Kinzer. Again, the owner of the Mini Sprint parked out in front. If you could please report downstairs to the novelty souvenir stand. Again, the owner of the Mini Sprint out near the parking area. Heat number 1 about to get underway, the first of Gold Cup 93. Come down off the corner, it's Urton on the bottom and Kinzer on top. They go down the front straightaway, and who comes out on top is the question. It will be Urton as Kinzer slams on the brakes coming off the turn as Urton had the drive lane. Kinzer now works it right up to the top of the racetrack. Sliding through the corner is the 22 of Little Jack Hodenshaw. Tom Esposito can't control his racer. Hod trying to get through there now, trying to make some into the top 4. He knows the importance of being there, but he's running all the way to the top of the racetrack and struggling just a little. He has to track down Steve Kent, and that's no easy task. Esposito back on the racetrack in the 99. Kinzer is now your leader in the 11 car. Here is Hod working on top as he goes around trying to get up on top of Kent. Kent working right up behind Herrera now and Urton as they go into turn number 1. Tight traffic over in the corner. Hod again barrels into the turn, Rickard up top right on the cushion of the racetrack as they call it, and Hod has picked off Steve Kent and goes after the 22 of Urton. And Hodenshaw working the top of the racetrack gets around Urton, almost a collision as Hod runs a solid 3rd now, tracking down Herrera in 2nd. Then comes Urton, Kent, and the 14F of Monte Vicento. Next in line would be Larry Lightfoot, the 26, and the 99 car of Esposito. Hodenshaw working a little lower in the racetrack now, still trying to pick up the number 2 spot. Kent pulling up on Urton as they come down the front chute. First heat race of the 93 Gold Cup underway with Steve Kinzer leading in the Valvoline. Kinzer, number 11. Hodenschild and Herrera locked in a fight for second as Herrera currently runs the number 2 spot. Kent working past Urton as they come down the front straightaway. Urton falls to 5th spot. Kent is now in 4th. 8 laps in the book. We have just 2 to go of this 10-lap first heat. Kinzer now will collect the 1-lap signal as he keeps his machine on the bottom of the racetrack. So he'll have the 50 points here despite the loss of some in qualifying. Stevie K rounding the final corner. It will be Steve Kinzer. Herrera still in the number 2 spot. Hodenshaw running on top. It will be Herrera, Hodenschild, and Kent, the 4 cars making it. Then comes Urton, followed by Facinto in the 14F. And I believe it'll be Lightfoot in 26 and 99 Esposito unofficially in the next 2 spots. Ten laps again the distance. Top 4 again making the feature run will include Ventura and Statler setting the pace with Hall and Scott chasing. McMahon and Hannestead have come from the 3rd row. Here they are. Statler, little wheel stand off in the corner as they go for turn number 1. And Jason Statler finds a groove out there. Oh, and Ventura gets excited and upside down as he becomes the first rollover victim for the 93 Gold Cup. Todd Ventura runs up on the back of a car and gets his machine upside down over in that turn 3 area. As certainly going to have to get some repair jobs done there before he's going to come back out for any further action. So they're over there currently checking on his condition. As soon as we've got confirmation on that, we'll let you know. Doesn't seem to be a great urgency over there. We're told now that he is just fine. He is okay. Todd Ventura in car number 83 is all right after a tumble in turn number 3 at the start of this heat race. Well, different arrangement now with Statler and Hall in the front row. Statler had the big jump last time around. Hall now on the inside as we get set to go now in heat 2 once again. Green light is on as Hall gets the jump headed for turn number 1. He's in a little trouble down now as Paul McMahon, and Statler hits Hall and he spins him around. Well, he cannot get around. Richard Harvey is involved and the yellow light comes on. The 28M moves to the outside just because he likes it there better, I believe, Marsh, so we're set to go. Nice, easy start coming down the chute. This time looks very good, headed for turn number 1. And it is McMahon and Statler going head-to-head down the back chute. Everybody tucks it down to the bottom, trying to get their cars to stick to the bottom of the racetrack. Paul McMahon on the Sunday drive here, just running the bottom of the racetrack, keeping things tucked down low and staying out of trouble. Up, looks out for Shane Scott. All of a sudden, Daryl Hannestead springs to life, and Hannestead wheels to the inside and takes over the 3rd position. Hannestead, right down at the bottom of the racetrack, really had a smooth, fast line there. Things seem to be in cement here for the front 4 spots. Remember, the award of points are also a part of this. So if you finish your heat race and finish it well, that's important. And it is Paul McMahon, Jason Statler, Daryl Hannestead, and Shane Scott all having a shot at the money now based on that finish. And here will be your 5th place car, Bill Nutter in car number 3N. And we'll have to pencil in Hurst in the 93 and then pick up the non-finishing cars beyond that. Another try coming down off the turn. The green is waving, this time a little better perhaps as everybody guns for the first corner. picking him up as they come off the turn. Boy, sparks flying off the 3C of Swindell's. Left, something wrong in the left rear corner of Sammy Swindell's car. Boy, it's fireworks all over the place. Swindell on the throttle low, and it seems to have subsided now. Now again, the sparks are flying as Sammy goes to the top of the racetrack. Here is Hurst, your leader, and Bobby McMahon next. Then comes Pilot, Brownfield, Brown, and the next three positions. Whatever the problem, looks like it's gotten a little better now as Sammy ducks down to the bottom trying to pull in on McMahon. Here comes Greg Brown going to the top as he wheels around Brownfield. Brownfield, though, on the throttle on the bottom with 3 laps down. Sammy, using the top of the racetrack, now tries to duck inside of McMahon, and they go through 3 and 4. Cleanly down the stretch here, Swindell working to the top once again, and Sammy Swindell. And the Clyde Lamar Tri-C Machine Special shows us around this racetrack. Swindell in a pretty good spot at third fast time. He's going for 50 points here. Sammy could have a good evening. Hopefully that spark problem will not be one that will plague him as Sammy goes into turn 3 holding a sizable advantage. Sammy Swindell, Bobby McMahon, Rick Hurst. Then comes Kevin Pilot, Greg Brown, Fred Brownfield, followed by Brian Crockett, the 8C Graydon Cross, and 11X Pat Fix, Scott Gannett in the next position. Sammy pushes by, then comes McMahon, Hurst, Pilot, and Greg Brown as the fight for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Now with 7 laps down. Brown on top. Greg Brown finds the same avenue that Sammy had taken earlier, running the top of the racetrack. There's some speed up there that a few people hadn't found earlier. So it makes it interesting. It also shows us that there is another lane around this racetrack as the white flag comes out to Slammin' Sammy Swindell. Swindell rounding the final turns, has this all figured out. The checkered is waving, and he picks up the victory, an easy one. Bobby McMahon will come home second. Third will go to Greg Brown in a good drive at the 44B, while the 3P of Pilot is next. Then comes Rick Hurst, Fred Brownfield, Floss in the 8C, followed by Crockett in the 22C, and 11X Pat Fix. Well, I think you can see the message that was given to the front row. Last chance, or you may lose your position. That was explained at the drivers' meeting. That the starts had to be good. A little bumping over there now. Wait a second. I think Berryhill's trying to give Smith a message here. Well, I think 3 times for charm. I'm not sure. We'll see if this one goes. Green light stays on this time. Steve Meitner and Brent Keating in a troubled start, but we're underway in this 4th heat race. Keating jumps into second. Meitner is off and running in the lead. Marvin Smith, Aaron Berryhill. Then comes Dale Cross and Jeff Halley. Well, you can see if the cars get down on the bottom of the racetrack, they really hook up to that moisture. Keating trying to find a spot now to wheel around Meitner as they go through 3 and 4. Meitner still hanging on. Keating working the racetrack. He knows how fast Swindell was. Here goes BK using the top line just like Swindell. And there is definitely a line on top here tonight if you want to go up there and grab it. As BK charges into the lead by a mile. Meitner is next. Then comes Smith, Berryhill, Cross, and Cobby, followed by Bradway, Haleb, Warden, and Wood. Keating on a march here in this 4th heat race of the night for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars on the opening leg of the Gold Cup Race of Champions. BK now in traffic. Will come up to the white flag, just 1 round to go. He is followed at this point by Steve Meitner in the 21 car. 41S, Marvin Smith in 23 now has worked in the next position. What a job by Jamie Cobby as he's gotten around Aaron Berryhill. So can he hold a spot? It looks like it as Keating shoots by. Meitner, Smith, and Cobby. Berryhill is next, followed by Cross and Bradway unofficially. Then comes Haleb in the 72. Trying again to bring him gently off the turn. This time things look a little bit better. Boy, everybody's struggling for position at the starts of these races. They have been tough all evening long. And the 9R of Dave Rule as Swindell ducks up to the inside of Glenn Bonet coming off of turn number 4. Trouble now for Bonet as he does a 360 over the turn. As he does that, boy, DeCaris. Swindell, who had a midget ride last night, had mechanical difficulties, hopes to make all that up this evening and has a pretty good run going so far. White flag comes out to flying Jeff Swindell. Looks like the Swindell brothers will be in the winner's circle together this evening. Down through the final turns, the north corners that he has to negotiate now have been conquered, and Jeff Swindell is your winner in Heat 5 here at Gold Cup. Dave Rule will be in second place, followed by Greg DeCaris. Then Jim Richardson makes the cut, followed by Bob Brook in the 79. 23F Faulting, 17B Bailey, 39 Boyd is behind him. Green light stays on this time, and BK races away. Here comes Hannestead and Swindell. Now Swindell picks it up. Kading goes into the corner. His car being a little awkward down here in turn 4, though. Brent up on top. Here comes Sammy. Again, those sparks come off the car that he had earlier. Brent ducks down to the bottom in 3 and 4, but his car won't work down there. Brent's car will not work on the bottom. He's really struggling. Sammy comes up here. Here is Hannestead, DeCaris, Jack Hodenschild, and Steve Kent. Brent still ducking to the bottom. He too has the sparks coming off of his brakes as he almost has to stop the car. DeCaris now goes underneath the 71 of Hannestead. This is a 7-lap race, by the way, 7 laps. Hannestead back around DeCaris, and Sammy's got his car stopped just about as hard as Brent does. Here comes Little Jack now trying to find if there's anything on top. With 4 laps in the book, we're past the halfway point. Jack now comes up on DeCaris as he'll go to the top of 3 and 4, but there's just nothing up there. Well, he does go around DeCaris as they go to turn number 1 and keeps that momentum up as they go down the backstretch, but DeCaris gets that moisture off of turn 2. Brandon Sammy will greet the white flag this time by. Drivers struggling through the final corners here. They both duck it right down to the bottom, and that's the way it'll finish. Brent Kading, Sammy Swindell, Darrell Hannestead, Greg DeCaris, then comes Jack Hodenschild and Steve Kent. The way that this Survivor and Dash goes tonight in World of Outlaw Racing here at the Gold Cup Race of Champions. That 25-point payoff will begin at Shear because Ward and Boyd have transferred to the B main. Laps, see if we can get a start here. This is going to be a tough one again. It's real hard to get him off that corner. Not too bad. Esposito in a little trouble though coming down the stretch as he wavers exiting turn number 4, and everybody ducks and dives over here now in the car turn. Looks like Glenn Bonet found some traction. Here comes Rick Hurst trying to move through there as they all go to the bottom of the racetrack. Mark Hall moves off the pole, goes up to the higher side of the racetrack. I don't know if there's anything up there, but Hall's trying it. Berryhill on the move in the 97 car. He came quickly into the picture as the 97 car. Now here comes Bonet. Bonet wheels down to the bottom and finds the traction off of turn 4 to his liking. But here is Berryhill running the top, but the traction is marginal at the top of the racetrack. Berryhill still running all the way at the top edge. Bonet ducks down to get that moisture to the rear wheels of his racer. And we get a spin by Ward. And it looks like the other transferring car, Boyd, tags him. Beautiful wheels you see on the World of Outlaw vehicles are provided by Weld Wheels. Weld is the #1 innovator in strong, lightweight, durable wheels. Set to go, B feature. Here they come now the back stretch. Bonet takes him in. Berryhill's right there. Bonet tries to keep it on the bottom. Berryhill tries to duck underneath him. He doesn't. Aaron Berryhill makes it through that narrow groove over here in turn number 4. And Berryhill is off and running with Bonet in second. Now Cross moves into the number 3 spot. Dale Cross in the number 3 position. But now Freddie Brownfield has found some traction as Brownfield gains his spot. And it'll be Berryhill, Bonet, Brownfield, Cross, then Bob Brook, Mark Hall. The 22P this weekend driven by Kevin Hurt, 17 Ryan Bailey, then Gary Willie and Rick Hurst in that order. 5 laps into this 12-lap B main event, opening night Gold Cup 1993. Top 4 make it here, so Hall trying to gun down Cross as they go down the backstretch in the fight for 4th. Hall on the bottom will get around Cross as Cross is just up off the groove far enough for Mark Hall to drive by and take over the 4th position. Hall again ducks to the bottom, tries to get some of that moisture in the left rear, get that left rear tire driving the car. And just a little bit of moisture is all he needs to rock it into 4th position. Your leader, Berryhill, though, into traffic. Now, this will be the problem with the feature. And Berryhill has gone to the top of the racetrack and really loses some ground as he comes up on Todd Ventura and goes to the outside to pass him. Berryhill now trying to keep his machine to run to the top side as Bonet, Brownfield, and Hall still hold down the next several spots. Laps now in the book, 2 laps to go. Berryhill working up on Braden Cross as they go down the back chute, but he's down in the safer territory, the moist bottom, as Berryhill rockets past the white flag. Glenn Bonet, Fred Brownfield, and Mark Hall all chase. Onto the infield goes the 22P of Kevin Hurt. Hurt looks like he is out, and the checkered flag will begin to unfurl, and it goes to the number 97 of Aaron Berryhill. Next is Bonet, followed by 92 Brownfield and 54 Hall. It looks like it'll be Dale Cross, Bob Brook in the next 2 spots, followed by Bailey, Rickers, and the 76 MC of Gary Willie. So we bring them back in 2x2 formation, and we're again set to try to gun down the front stretch. Same results. Brent up on top immediately. Here comes Sammy following a similar line. Hannestead falls into second. Everybody on the gas down the backstretch. Herrera and Swindell going over the same spot in turn 3. Swindell bouncing up out of the groove. Everybody else tucks it all the way to the bottom at the start of this main event. Swindell now goes around Pilot, and the lap is complete. BK in front. Daryl Hannestead is next in line. Then comes Sammy Swindell. The sparks just flying off the brakes. The brakes are going to overheat. Watch the red glow of the rotors on the undersides of these cars. These drivers are just standing on the brake pedal when they get to the corner. Of course, the story here is going to be when they get into traffic as Kading begins to seek his line on this raceway. Daryl Hannestead runs second. Sammy Swindell, Jack Hottenshaw, Greg DeCaris, Paul McMahon. Then comes Steve Kent. And the order for this one, behind Kent now, we have Johnny Herrera, Aaron Berryhill, Bobby McMahon. Then comes Jeff Swindell, Shane Scott, Kevin Pilot. See where Steve Kinzer's at. He is still logjammed well back in the field. Kinzer is trying to make his move now as he's racing partially on the infield, but Kinzer is going to have to make some very fancy moves as he hopes to get up in the finishing order of this Gold Cup. Wing is loose on Bonet's number 24 as it tips all the way back. Bonet stays on the gas, but he leapfrogs off the turns. I'm sure the black flag is out to Bonet. Yes, black flag goes to Bonet as Kading comes up in the back of the field. Looks like Bonet has ignored the black. Kading in trouble as he comes up on Smith in the number 41 car. Smith races with him into the corner. Now they go around the 9R car. Down a lap is Dave Rule, but the yellow flag is out. Caution flag as Jeff Swindell gets off the turn. Here comes Smith racing up on the inside of Kading, but the yellow is out. Jeff Swindell off of turn number 2. and the wing dislodged on the 24 car of Bonet. Starts so far have been good on the back chute. We'll see if anybody tries any daring moves here. Again, Hod's going to try the top. Just not a lot out there, though. Matter of fact, he might lose a position to Greg DeCaris. Steve Kinzer goes out there once again. Kading runs the top off of turn 2. DeCaris and Hod go at it for 4th. Kading holds on to the bottom here in the 69 car, followed by Daryl Hannestead. Then Sammy Swindell in the 3rd position. Kinzer still trying to move on top. There's just no place else to pass, so Steve has to go on the top of the racetrack. He tries to get the car to hold in the corners. He doesn't have quite enough traction, but he is making some progress, albeit slow. Kinzer trying to work his way up. Here comes DeCaris up with the yellow flag out. Bobby Jackson signals it's time to go again. Now with 10 in the book. Here's Kinzer again trying the top. Awfully slick up there though. Steve has gained some ground. Then he ducks to the bottom again. Kinzer keeps working his way forward. He has done so on every start. Remember, he was way back there. Hannestead and Swindell go at it. Swindell on the bottom, Hannestead on the top. Down the backstretch, Hannestead, Swindell. We got DeCaris and Hodenschild locked in a battle as well as we come down the front stretch and they string back out. But it was a tight one there for a moment. There's still some racing room here on this oval track. Now Paul McMahon gets into the picture as DeCaris continues to hold off Hodenschild in the fight for the number 4 spot. Kading just biding his time. He likes these yellows. It keeps him out of the traffic where he could get in trouble. He almost got nailed earlier in the traffic situation. And Brent's just going to take his time going through 3 and 4. There's no hurry to get at the back of this field. Then comes Hannestead, Swindell, DeCaris, Hodenschild, McMahon, Steve Kent, Aaron Berryhill. And of course, Kinzer is still trying to work his way forward as he moves back to the top of the racetrack. He still sits behind Berryhill though. Now he takes the bottom of turn 3 and 4. Steve has to try to get up there in the finishing order if he hopes to be in contention for that Gold Cup on Saturday night. Now it's what Kading had dreaded. He is at the back of the grid as he comes up in the 9R car of Dave Rule. And Rule stands as the first possible down car here. Kading just taking his time going into the corner. Here comes Hannestead working up. Now this is going to slow down the front runners. They're going to group up everybody else. So as Kading slows the pace, then the rest of the group will bunch up. Kinzer still trying to work forward. Kading gets around the 9R now as Rule is down a lap. Dave Rule of San Jose down a mark to the front runner, Brent Kading. Kading working on Freddie Brownfield as they go into turn number 1. Brent running a high line. He goes around Brownfield almost off the edge. He's running on the ragged edge as he goes over there. Brownfield races with him into turn number 3. BK powers off of the 4th corner, now coming up on Glenn Monet's number 24, sitting with 19 laps down, coming up on lap number 20. Kading runs right up against that dangerous edge, that cushion exiting turn number 2, but he has to run the ragged edge tonight if he expects to be at the front of the Gold Cup Race of Champions. Brent Kading powers down the front stretch. Harold Hannestead thunders by. Then goes Sammy Swindell, Greg DeCaris, Jack Hodenschild, and Paul McMahon. Now with 20 laps in the book, we've got 5 to go. And there is Kading working around Bonet's number 24. This time a dangerous spot, a little higher in turns 3 and 4, a spot that many drivers have gotten in trouble. Kading continues to run that upper edge. Hannestead is right there with the hammer down, and he gets in trouble as he's jammed up between Bonet and Brownfield, but gets through there somehow, piloting the Lovell Brothers Silver Bullet 71 solidly up there. Looks like Hannestead is just getting faster. Kading now comes up on Sattler's number 00, but Hannestead's right there, pounding on the door. Down the front stretch, BK, Daryl Hannestead. Here comes Sammy Swindell, followed by Greg DeCaris and Jack Hodenschild, still your top 5. Then it's McMahon, Berryhill, Kent, Kinzer still running the top side, and Herrera. Kinzer still seeking position. The white flag is out to BK. He's got enough cushion, we believe, as he'll be coming around the final set of turns. And car number 69, can he continue his dominance here in Chico for 1993 with a Gold Cup victory? A great possibility. Your winner, Brent Kading. In comes Hammerstead in the number 2 spot, followed by Swindell. Then comes DeCaris, Hodenschild, McMahon, Berryhill, and it looks like Kinzer was right behind Berryhill as they crossed the line. Well, a tough drive on a Thursday night here in the opener of Gold Cup Race of Champions, but the man from Campbell, California made it all work, and he's got his best shot ever at that big Gold Cup and a $20,000 check after capturing this 25-lap run. He is chased by the Hammer, Daryl Hannestead. He's had it down all the way. Sammy Swindell is third. Then comes Greg DeCaris and Jack Hodenschild. I believe it will be Paul McMahon, Aaron Berryhill, and Steve Kinzer behind him. BK, I mean, he is pumped. There's a guy that's a happy camper, I guarantee you, and he's going to have a lot to say. He was a little bit reserved earlier because his concentration was on this victory tonight. He's got it in the bag, and now I'm guaranteeing you this guy is one happy son of a gun, and he's going to be on the mic in just a moment with Bob Gerald as we go downstairs. Bob?
Congratulations in order to Brent Kading, Bob Miller, Ned Furla, J.W. Hunt, the Los Gatos Body Shop crew down here. Brent Kading takes the helmet off, and he is a happy man down here in Victory Lane. They get the win. Their second preliminary night win on the West Coast World of Outlaw Tour after he started the tour on Friday night at Santa Maria about 3 weeks back with a feature win. And so the crew is happy down here. We'll get Brent around to the front side here in just a moment. And also, coupled with his 4th fast time tonight, his win in his heat race, his win in the dash, and now a win in the feature event, Brent Kading will be up there on the front row on Saturday night. Whether or not it'll be inside or outside, we don't know yet, but he's going to be on the front row. Congratulations, BK. You got the job done. You're here.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's been a wonderful season. My guys have worked their heart out all year long, put in a lot of hard work over the winter. We had a tough season last year, but we're glad to be here in the winner's circle. This is just great.
Just a finesse deal out there on the racetrack. It looked like tonight. You really had to be careful because the track was such a deal out there that you could get loose and lose that rear end at any time. You really kind of just had to take it easy, huh?
Yeah, you really did. It was a tough racetrack, and we've done fairly well here when the track's been this condition. I mean, in my earlier years, I probably would have been off the end 3 or 4 times or upside down, but getting a little older, a little wiser, and just a tribute to the whole crew, the car owner, the sponsors. It's been a great season. These Gambler cars are working great. These McCurry tires have been tough all year, and we're just hoping for a good night on Saturday night. This is just a preliminary, but to us it ranks right up there.
No doubt about that. $4,000 feature win money tonight, which isn't a bad deal either. Couple that with all the wins you've had during the season, the win here at the Mini Gold Cup, and as you said, it's been a heck of a year. Now, Saturday night, you're going to be up there on the front row. You don't know whether or not it'll be inside or outside, but, I mean, you can't do any better than that. That had to be the goal coming in.
Yeah, it really was. Thought I made some mistakes there qualifying, but fortunate enough the track went away, and our time held up, and I don't know, we're happy to be here. Some of the lap cars cooperated for me real well. Glenn Bonet worked with me because he had me hung out there. Me and has some good racing this year, but I don't want to bore these people anymore. Let's get this deal over with.
All right, I think it's party time down here. Brent Kading at car number 69, your winner. And there was a gentleman by the name of J.W. Hunt who would like to see him, and he gets the big kiss from Brent. And J.W., what'd you think of that one?
Boy, we've had a hell of a day.
We had some golfing earlier, and you won that, and now you're here in the winner's circle again.
Won the heat race, won the dash, and won the feature. Hey, Brent, how about $2,000, big boy?
$2,000 down here for Brent Kading, for the big boy from J.W. Hunt. And so he's down here posing for some pictures. John Pageant, Dr. Howard Ely, the sponsor of tonight's racing activity.
$13,211 for Tim Green. And $13,207. 13,077, 13077. Fast time by a wide margin Can he crack the 12s? He does. Ronnie Day at 12.993. 167 is second fast. Can Andy bring it down more as he comes off the fourth turn? 12.965. 13.043 third fast time, as he'll be trying to bring it down even further in this second go-round. 12.853, 853 is fast time. 13136 puts him in a pretty good spot, possibly about fourth fast. And 13.004 solidifies that position. 12.884 for the veteran driver, 12.884. Fine lap. Inserts him in second quick position. Sills of Placerville looking for a good qualifying lap. He's late in the order. Of course, Randy Hannigan's yet to come. He's been the hottest qualifier. Sills on the throttle now as the white flag begins to wave. Lap 1, 13.054. Randy Hannigan at 13.160. And at 12.977, not good enough for fast time, but certainly puts him in a pretty good spot at fourth quick. For the sprint car portion of the Gold Cup at $20,000 to tomorrow night's feature winner. By the way, you can get information all day tomorrow here at the Speedway from 9 to 4 about available seats and other information. Our office will be open. Gates open at 5. Racing at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, though. Pretty good looking start this time as they come off the corner evenly, and into the turn goes Rose in front as the Australian Farr jumps into the number 2 spot. Ludorf is next, then comes Stevie Smith making a run. Here's Robertson off the end of the 15 car. They wave Robertson up to the back of the field and keep it going as Smith and Ludorf fight it out for third. Here comes the Australian going for the lead. He's got it. Robert Farr of Sydney, Australia, charging into the lead by a mile now in just a short lap or two. And here's a stoppage by the 9-in car right in front of us. Brent Dothage, the yellow is out. Hopefully everybody can get by safely as Dothage stops right in the middle of the racetrack. The October 16th Northern Auto Racing Club Budweiser Fall Nationals. Of course, NARC will also resume over at Twin Cities on September 25th and Antioch on October 8th. Don't forget the October 9th mile at Cal Expo as well. And of course, the big Pacific Sprint Nationals coming up here October 22nd and 23rd. Restart time. Well, Farr is holding this one in control as he jets out in front of Pat Rose, Stevie Smith, and Scott Ludorf. Now in the fight for fourth, here comes the 98X of Eric Rossi, followed by Al Young, Mike Warlock. Then comes the 9-in, restarted all right. Of course, Brent Dothage and Mike McCreary and Blake Robertson in the next two positions. Great race for second in his first heat race, now 7 laps old. Robertson trying to make some headway up, but his car just not responding the way he'd like. 2 laps away from the finish with this pass to the stand. Eric Rossi has moved around Ludorf. And now we've got Stevie Smith in second and going after the number 94 car, Farr. Farr slowed down by McCreary as the white flag unfolds. This could be a race to the finish. And they both get through there somehow. Looked like for a moment there was trouble. Now here comes Smith trying to close in, but Robert Farr holds him off and wins. Smith is next in line. Then comes the 22 of Rose, is followed by the 98X of Eric Rossi. Gently again in the corner. This time, hopefully, will net the start. They come charging off the corner with Olmsted and Miller going head-to-head. Olmsted again comes out on top. Green light stays on. And we're underway in the second heat race of the night for the Gold Cup Race of Champions as Olmsted and Miller fight it out down the backstretch. Jimmy Sills going the next two positions. They're at full speed in the front of this heat race. Sills, Jacobs, Trulli, and Clausen are next. Then comes Rosendahl, Blevins, John C. Anderson, Allard, and Tabor. Allard pulls off the 83, drops out of the event. Stephen Allard is gone, and Olmsted is on the hammer. Let me tell you, the Country Builders number 88 out in front by a ton. It's a shame he's way down in the qualifying order because he may pick up the victory. Oh, he's in trouble on the high edge of turn 4. And Miller's right there knocking on the door. 5 laps down, 5 to go. Chuck Miller takes the lead as they exit turn 2, and Olmsted is right back after him going to turn 3. See the exhaust flames quenched on the 88 car as Olmsted throttles it hard through the corners. 8 laps in the book, 2 laps to go. Front of the field is up to the back. Sills gaining some on Olmsted as they go into the corner. Jacobs is right there as well. The white flag is out. Still up for grabs. 1 lap to go. Here's Olmsted again trying, but Miller really storms into turn 3. Olmsted drives underneath him. The two make contact, and here comes Sills underneath him. It's Olmsted, Sills, Jacobs, and then Miller. Almost a disaster there, and I'm sure there's going to be a discussion about that one. As Danny Olmsted, let me tell you, drove a car about as fast as anybody's ever driven a car. Ford pace truck again is off. Third heat race comes off the corner. See if the green light will stay on this time. I think we've got it. We're under green, and car number 18, Mike Hubert Jr., out in front. As everybody dives into turn 3, that seems to be the spot to go. Mike Wasina Jr. and Kyle Shield are running second and third. Here comes the 1C of Scooter Lambert and car number 2, Andy Hillenberg. Hillenberg trying to find his spot on the racetrack. Everybody fast out there tonight. You got to really stand on the gas and stay with it as Lambert pulls up on Wasina. And here comes some challenges for Lambert as they go through 3 and 4, as both Shield and Hillenberg are right there on the inside. Meanwhile, Mike Hubert Jr. is in command of this event. Fight for second, the fight for third, a good one. We've got now the number 2 of Hillenberg tracking the top 4 as Hillenberg moves up 1 spot. Remember, points are important, so these drivers are going all out in these heat races. Hillenberg challenging Lambert as they go into the corner. Hillenberg on the bottom, Lambert on the top, and the fight for third as it continues. Hubert now into traffic, comes up on Neil Cagle and Nick Ringo. Hubert on the throttle and then the brakes. And now has to really take his time over in turn 4. Meanwhile, the freight train catches up. He goes outside of Ringo's number 96 as they come down the front stretch and clears Ringo, but look out for the next grouping as Wasina on top. Lambert goes there. Here is the number 2 of Hillenberg on the bottom. Hillenberg's going to make a pass. What a move by Hillenberg. That's a major league sprint car move by Andy Hillenberg. And now he goes after Wasina as they go down the backstretch. Wasina, a little trouble, and Hillenberg could get underneath him. Checkered is out. Not quite, I don't believe, but it was a close one at the finish. We'll have to wait for a judge's decision. A wild and woolly heat race here as we had the 18 car of Mike Hubert out there all the way. This time the Ford Pace truck should be called aside, and we'll watch for Fernandez and Vangemert to bring him down off of turn 4 with Ray Rust, Greg Hodnett, Tim Green, and Randy Hannigan in tow. Pretty good looking start. In fact, the best we've had tonight. The Washington driver on top really gets the traction, and Vangemert jumps into the lead. Fernandez is next, then comes Hodnett, Hannigan, Rust, Wasina, and Green. Oh, and off the end goes Fernandez. Fernandez off the end between 3 and 4 will draw the yellow. Silvera and Fernandez for the restart with 1 in the books, 9 to go. Single file restart on the backstretch. Trouble is Wasina got almost sideways and lost about 4 positions in the process as the green comes on, but Mike Wasina, costly error as Hodnett takes the lead. Vangemert goes into the number 2 spot, then comes Hannigan and Green. Oh, and Vangemert is off the end. Somehow keeps the car at all 4s. Boy, that was a piece of driving by Vangemert. The 3B, as we thought for sure he was upside down. Now Howard Kading loses power. Kading going to the top in car 69. Looks like another slowdown will be recorded here. All with Brodex cylinder heads, Cam Dynamics, Carrera shocks, JJ Racing, MSD ignition, Shaver engines, Pro Shocks, Well wheels, Maxim chassis, Quick Change, relief valves, ethanol, Zico Racing Fuels, and Jenkins Motorsports. Here they come down through turn number 4. Hodnett and Hannigan, the 2 battle men, as they go to turn 1, still close together. Tim Green solidly in 3rd. Then comes Mike Wasina, Jamie Cabanero, and Ray Rust. I'll tell you one thing everybody's learned while the Outlaws have been here, you got to drive as hard every lap. There's just no letting up. That's one thing. You cannot rest. You cannot take a break. Tim Green trying to pull up on Hannigan as they go through 3 and 4. Hannigan a little trouble after being the star. Now Hannigan struggles, and Tim Green will take over the number 2 spot. Here comes Green trying to chase down Hodnett going into turn 3. Hannigan trying to regain composure as well. Green is right there knocking on the door, but Hodnett seems to hold him off. Now Hannigan is back after Timmy. So this one's going to go down the wire as well, much the same as what we saw earlier. Hodnett still holding a clean line as the white flag is out. Tim Green still trying to gain ground with Hannigan, Wasina, Cabanero, Silvera, and Rust following. And the victory will go to Greg Hodnett. Tim Green is 2nd. Then comes Randy Hannigan, Mike Wasina, Jamie Cabanero, 87 Tony Silvera, and 4R Ray Rust, the only cars running at the checkered flag. Off the turn, pretty good looking start as everybody charges for turn number 1 and looking for an opportunity over there. Out in front comes Smith with Rogers next in line. Here comes Bonema, Henry, and Blaney all scampering for position. Harney dropped back. Kilroy's on the infield in the 35K, but doesn't look like it'll require a flag. Well, Smith out in front. Here comes Blaney now working in the top, trying to get around Bonema. Blaney makes the pass. Ronnie Day didn't get a break at the start. Day has to go some to get up in the top 4. He's going to have to get around Tom Henry and then track down Jerry Bonema as Dale Smith continues to lead in car number 75S. Still, Rogers giving a good ride now to his new machine, the Ken Taylor Motorsports Maxim number 1F. A Vibrant number 10, Ford Power, Casey Luna, Ford Vibrant machine. Boy, Rodney Day's going to have to go some too as Blaney tries again on the top. Smith has got a perfect line around this oval, and Blaney's just got nowhere to go. Now goes to the bottom, and what a pass by Blaney. Dave Blaney makes the move down to the bottom as they exit turn number 4, and Dale Smith, nothing to be ashamed about. He's driven a heck of a race. We've got a white flag, 1 lap to go. Harney spinning now, headed down the backstretch onto the infield once again as Blaney will head for the checkered. Dave Blaney, your winner, followed by Smith. Then comes Rogers and Bonema. Oh, they bring him down nicely this time. And looks like Cat and Mouse may have paid off for Sills as he jumps into the corner. Here comes Hannigan into the 3rd position. Smith and Hillenberg go to 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And Hannigan goes after Green as they come down the front chute. Randy Hannigan off and running here. Here comes Hillenberg as he jumps into 3rd, but Sills is gone. Sills out there in front, and he's not about to take any prisoners. Boy, it's a fast-moving and fast-paced race, and we mentioned that it's a tough one at 7 laps because you got the 6 fastest cars at the raceway. Sills, Hannigan, Hillenberg, here comes Jacobs, Green, and Smith. Just one miscalculation here cost you a lot of room. Tim Green has slid to 5th. I'm sure some misalignment on his car. Smith is off the racetrack, and he'll stop his race car. Smith stops his car down here off of turn number 4 after getting over the embankment. They're cat and mouse as they come off the turn. Will anything change? So far, nothing does. As they head for the corner, it's Sills, Hannigan, Hillenberg, and Jacobs. Then comes Green and Smith. Jimmy on the throttle coming down the stretch in the Berry construction machine. Sills seems to have him covered, but Hannigan's right there with him. Hillenberg falls off the pace slightly. Jacobs is right there. The white flag is out. Hillenberg falling back about 4 car lengths as Hannigan chases Sills into turn 1, but Sills puts a little air in there as they go down the backstretch. And coming up for this victory tonight, Jimmy Sills. Hannigan is next, followed by Hillenberg. Then comes the 71M of Jacobs, 77 Smith, and the 14 of Green. Field there for just a moment. The 17Y looked like he could be in trouble, but he was able to recover. We'll try to keep the front row in a little better formation for the next try. Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of good things going on here in the front stretch, and somehow they all kept going. We had Allard sideways. We had Jimmy Trulli in trouble. Al Young was there. Jamie Cavanero. We got a car in its side over in turn number 4. As Fernandez gets upside down, it looked like a disaster here in the front stretch. But green light is on. Will it stay on is the question. It appears so as Tyner's in front of Henry. with Day collecting third. Then comes Robertson in fourth as we get underway with his B feature. Troy Rosendahl goes to the racetrack in the 41 car. Stops it on the backstretch. A lap is in, though, as they come down for the yellow. Restart time. Still the one showing on the scoreboard. Tyner, Henry. Comes Ronnie Day, Blake Robertson. Day going to the high side, rather Robertson. Day staying on the bottom as the fight for third develops. And everybody goes past the stand, hopefully for a couple of laps this time, as Randy Tyner is the leader in the Riolo machine. Here comes two in, the car driven by Ronnie Day into the number 2 spot. Then 17T, Tom Henry. Blake Robertson is next, and Emery Gray, followed by Kyle Shield, Ray Rust, and Tim Fawcett. So the laps tick off quickly now in this B feature. Car in trouble over in turn 3. Al Young bouncing around, but he manages to get it back. Now it's Ludorf's 11L slowing down, and Ludorf just running on the bottom of the racetrack now. Don't know what the problem is, but it looks like he is done, or at least he is slowed dramatically. He will pull it to the infield now. Car 11L, Scott Ludorf drops out. Trouble off the end as Day gets off the racetrack. Tyner, Henry, Robertson, Emery Gray. Really tight group as they go into turn 3. Now we've got the 9 in of Brent Dothage in trouble here in the front stretch. Dothage does a good job of controlling his machine, but upside down is Ray Rust over in turn 2. It's going to be a checkered flag. Checkered flag is out as we come to the conclusion of this B main as Ray Rust goes upside down in turn number 2, and this event is over. He's climbing out of the race car. It appears to be okay. Ray Rust. That concludes our B feature. We'll have a rundown for you in just a moment on that. We'll be calling up the A main event cars and the 4 transfer cars to join us for 25 laps of World of Outlaw Copenhagen Skull Shootout Championship racing here in just a couple of Ford pace truck is off as Sills and Hannigan line up in the front. Then comes Hillenberg, Jacobs, Smith, Green, Tyner, and Blaney. Tough runners all the way. They come off the corner gently, and the green is waving. Hannigan gets the jump. Randy Hannigan, first man to the turn as Sills falls into second. Here comes Timmy Green working around the 17. We got trouble and 2 cars tied up and no start. Right rear wheel comes off a Sills car. Sills loses the right rear wheel off the Berry number 7, and this is a heartbreaker for Jimmy as we're under yellow. It's not a red, under yellow. They're told it's a broken axle on Sills' car. A broken axle, which generally means that it's unrepairable. Jimmy up and out of the race car. 22 cars remain with 25 laps to go. Leapfrogging off the corner is Hannigan once again. Here comes Stevie Smith this time, though. He's right there as they go into turn 3. Smith on the top of the racetrack. Here comes Kenny Jacobs trying to make a move as well. This lap will be in the book as main event is underway here at Silver Dollar, the second night of qualifying for the Gold Cup Race of Champions 1993. Leader is Randy Hannigan. Stevie Smith runs second. Third currently is Andy Hillenberg in the black number 2, followed by Kenny Jacobs in the 71M, then Tim Green, Dave Blaney, Randy Tyner, the Australian Robert Farr in the 94 car, 24 KT Chuck Miller, and 1C Scooter Lambert, followed by Greg Hodnett in the 4A. They string it out a little bit. The track is extremely fast, and everybody is going just about at an equal pace here. but they're going to get into traffic very, very fast as they're into lap number 4, just about a half of a straightaway from the back of the pack. And that's what's going to make this one interesting, as it always does here in this tight, high-bank, quarter-mile play oval in Chico. Silver Dollar Speedway hosts the World of Outlaws, as they have since 1980 right here. As we come down the front chute, it's going to have the leaders closing as Hannigan comes up on his other car, former car, and goes around Rogers. Smith is right there. Here comes Hillenberg, and Hannigan almost slowed up too much as both Smith and Hillenberg were on the button as they come down the front chute. Here is a challenge by Blaney as he gets inside of Green as he tries to advance. But Hannigan's going to have to make the right choices in traffic, but we got a car stopped over in the corner, and the red flag is out. See the crumpled wing and the driver unbuckling, so we believe he is okay. Bottom up and out of the race car. But now hear you. Jacobs, Green, Blaney, Tyner, Farr, Miller, Lambert, Hodnett. Then comes Olmsted in the 88, followed by Walsina, Rossi, Rose, Gray, Robertson, Smith, Walsina. Then comes Henry, and the 1F car comes down the front straightaway, driven by Gordon Rogers. Restart time. Hannigan handles it. Randy Hannigan. Here comes Stevie Smith, though, closing as they come down the front chute. Then Hillenberg, Jacobs, and Blaney as they run in the top 5 spots. Lap 8 is in the book, coming up on the number 9 lap here at the Speedway. Hannigan running down to the bottom masterfully. His machine absolutely perfect here tonight. Hannigan can go anywhere he wants at any time. Also has a superb power plant in that car as he walks away from the competitors. Stevie Smith giving it all he's got, and Hannigan just running away. Again, the traffic situation will be the answer to this race. And Hannigan negotiate the traffic. Rogers goes off the racetrack in the 1F, but he returns without a flag. He is up out of the groove in a safe area, so we'll continue racing. Hannigan, Smith, Hillenberg, now Blaney into 4th, followed by Jacobs, Green, Tyner, Farr, and Chuck Miller as Miller continues his advancement. And the 1F car, Rogers, again leaves the racetrack, but he is clear of everything. I think we're pretty safe, but Hannigan now is being pressured by 3 outlaw members as Hannigan goes inside of Wasina, coming down the front stretch. Here comes Smith making his bid. Hillenberg is trapped in behind Wasina as Blaney applies the pressure. Now Blaney going to the top of the racetrack, but he is unable to pull off the pass as Hillenberg sneaks through. Still Jacobs and Green in hot pursuit. Hannigan now up behind Henry, a fellow San Jose driver, and he goes to the bottom, just wheels right underneath him, and comes up on Smith's number 75, now at 15 laps down. Emery Gray having some problems with his car hiking in the corners, and we don't know if that'll affect the leaders as they come up on him. They're going to have to be cautious as Emery seems to have just a little problem with his car settling down. Hannigan zips around Smith, and now Stevie Smith behind him. Then comes Andy Hillenberg, full speed down the front straightaway as Hannigan comes up on Emery Gray. Here is Hillenberg challenging Stevie Smith for just a moment. Blaney is solidly in 4th. Green is next. The yellow flag is out. Dale Smith off of turn number 1 in car number 75. Caution light is on as Smith is up and out of his race car. We'll send both a tow truck and Working Woody over there as we'll get the pace vehicle out. Again, it's restart time as Hannigan will pick it up going down the backstretch. Watch Stevie Smith and see if he pulls any strategy here. It's just hard out, all-out racing into turn number 3, and Hannigan comes out on top once again. Look out for Blaney as Blaney goes over. We've got the 88 Olmsted off the end of the racetrack, but he settled back on all 4s. The red flag is out, but it looked like Olmsted was going for a tremendous ride, but the car then settled back down on all 4 wheels and just kind of parked over there off of turn number 4. Again, Hannigan responding as they go into turn 3. Stevie Smith's right there as well. Then Hillenberg and Blaney. Hillenberg's car hooked up a little hard. Smith runs to the high line now, getting right up on top. Here comes Stevie Smith making his move as Hannigan's on the bottom. Smith hooked up hard on the top. Here comes Hillenberg, followed by Blaney and Jacobs. Hannigan doing one whale of a job here at Silver Dollar tonight, but he's going to have to watch out for Stevie Smith as Smith picks up the pace on the top side of the racetrack. 19 laps are now gone. We're coming up on lap number 20. Continues to be the same game. Now we've got another move by Blaney as the 10 car rolls past Hillenberg. Blaney now in a third position. Hillenberg is fourth. Then comes Jacobs, Green, Tyner. Then Robert Farr, followed by Miller, Lambert, and Henry. 21 laps are now history here at Silver Dollar Speedway. Hannigan will again be in traffic, though. We thought he might make the distance without traffic problem, but here it is. And I guarantee you, Stevie Smith's been waiting for this setup. Hannigan right on top around his old car. He goes around Robertson. Now he passes Rogers, and Hannigan has just shown everybody how to get around this quarter mile. Smith almost out of the groove, and Blaney was there looking for an opening. Randy Hannigan, the man of the hour, now at 23 laps down as he powers into turn 3. Hannigan comes off of the turn. The white flag is waving. He is still chased by Smith, Blaney, Hillenberg, and Jacobs. Can he pull it off down the final stretch? Here comes Smith with one bit on the top. Stevie Smith on top of the racetrack. Hannigan's right there. It will be Hannigan. Smith is next, followed by Blaney, Hillenberg, and Jacobs. And that's what it's all about in sprint car racing, as Randy Hannigan sets class here tonight as the man from San Jose showed the nation that he is a top-rated sprint car driver by capturing this 25-lap run. Stevie Smith has to settle for the bridesmaid role. Dave Blaney is third, Andy Hillenberg fourth, and Kenny Jacobs is fifth. But for the second night, it's a man from California that rolls up in a black car to this start-finish line, and I guarantee you there's going to be another mighty happy camper down there. We're going downstairs to Bob Gerald.
I'm just laughing at these guys out here. They are so excited. Randy Hannigan pulled out. He was screaming all the way from turn number 4. You could hear him all the way up here screaming at the top of his lungs. The crew's running over. They are mobbing him. They are just as happy as can be. Randy Hannigan in car number 1 upsets the Outlaws tonight. He's your San Jose track champion in the 410s and the 360s, and he got it done tonight. And they are deservedly excited down here right now. These guys just couldn't be happier. Congratulations all the way around to Randy Hannigan. Chico race fans, he's got his helmet off. How about a big round of applause as he gets congratulations from Stevie Smith to Randy Hannigan on his first ever World of Outlaws feature event win. And we're going to get him up here for an interview here in just a second. Getting a lot of hugs and congratulations. He's putting on the Copenhagen skull hat. And Randy, come on over here. Congratulations, man. I know this is a neat deal for you.
Oh, this is more than neat. I tell you what. This is the biggest accomplishment of my life here, you know. And I tell you, I owe this to Celebrity Dodge and my brother Terry. You know, if it wasn't for them sponsoring me and giving me the cars to run, and Earl Gertie and the motors, and, you know, Willwood with the disc brakes, and Santa Maria Racing Products helped me out. You know, I can't say enough for all my sponsors, you know. I wish my brother was down here right now because, you know, he'd be down here happy just as the rest of the crew. But, you know, when I see him, it's going to be a pretty happy experience because this is our dream, you know, and it's kind of reality.
You've been getting faster, but we've been watching your progress all throughout the World of Outlaw Tour. What do you think's been the secret to your speed all of a sudden?
I don't know. You know, we just clicked. We struggled a little bit with the car at the beginning when we got this new Jenkins car, and I tell you, you know, out of Calistoga we learned quite a bit of knowledge on the chassis, and you know, it's just applying to everywhere now. And you know, I can't say enough for the Jenkins car, Earl Gertie, and my brother, and Celebrity Dodge.
Let me ask you one final question. It got a little bit scary for you there on the last lap. Some lap traffic maybe was about to take it away from you. What were you thinking?
Well, you know, before I started racing sprint cars, I watched these guys race, and, you know, they race hard all the way to the checkered. And, you know, I wasn't about to let that car do anything cost me this race, you know. But if he would have, well, we'd have dealt with it. But, you know, I just raced as hard as I could to the line, and I knew there was somebody knocking on my door, and I just wanted to get to the opening first.
Second place is a strong job for you, Stevie, and I'm sure you're going to be the high points man tonight. Congratulations.
Well, thanks. We sure wanted to win this one, but we have another chance tomorrow. Randy Hennigan, he did a nice job. Never made any mistakes, and he earned a win.
You were, you know, not too far back removed. You were a young driver coming up on the World of Outlaws Tour, and I'm sure you can remember your first time you ever beat the big boys.
Yeah, it's a good feeling, and I'm real happy for Randy. I hope we can beat him tomorrow night, though.
I hear that. Congratulations to you once again.
Terry, tell me what you think of your baby brother.
Oh, I think he's the greatest brother I ever have. This is what I've been here for. I'm glad I'm here to see it all. And I just want to be part of the whole entire World of Outlaws, sprint car racing, any kind of racing you could be. I'm so happy. I'm going nuts right now.
Off goes the balloon to salute the kickoff for the 40th final Gold Cup Race of Champions night as we get set to go here at Silver Dollar Speedway, and a colorful salute off of the third corner. The bulk of the cash starts to really begin to enter into the picture when you get up about the C main, so these drivers have a long ways to go. Blevins, starting on the pole, has been a consistent runner here at the Speedway. As they come down off of the turn, the first green flag of the night is about to be offered, and it's a good-looking start. Pretty nice-looking start despite slippery track conditions as we're underway here in this G main event with Greg Blevins and Greg Brower out in front. Brower on the top side, and the 12G gets into the corner, but Blevins is down underneath him. Kerry Wood gets a little steep in turn number 4. And we've got Howard Kading rolling into third position. Now there is a possibility of transferring 3 cars here. More than likely 3 cars will transfer because of the fact that we have 1 vacancy in the F main as Kading gets around Brower. So that means that Brower is still possibly in the race. Everybody else struggling for position. Currently Nick Ringo is next, then comes Jerry Johnston, Kent Kilroy, Chris Walter. As he moves up quickly in his mount, and the New Mexico driver now has trouble of his own over here in turn 2. Kent Kilroy clips him in the 35K, and Kilroy gets the brakes. Now there's a tangle between the front runners. Both get onto the infield edge. Here comes Brower into the lead, and everybody races across the edge. Greg Brower back in the front of this one, and a wild and woolly G main event here in Chico. Brower followed by Kading. Now Blevins is into third. Then it's Dave Clark and Johnston. Ringo limping along as the white flag is out. Well, someplace in this dust storm, our leader should come around and face us. It is the 12G of Greg Brower. Someone behind him is Kading in the 69H, then 5B Blevins. 10J Johnston is fourth, and I believe it'll be Kerry Wood in the 30 car behind him as Dustin of the 19th. Racing here at Silver Dollar continues October 16th, and then the 22nd and 23rd yet this year. Pace quickens. Here they come off the turn. Green flag is out. We're underway. Pretty good sized field into the corner as we have Humphreys holding a slim advantage into the turn. We got a car upside down on the backstretch. It's Blevins, and the red flag will be out. Rick Hurst restarts. Will rejoin the pack after tire exchange. Also, the front wing is removed. He's set to go. Here they come off the corner. Green light is on. Ivan Warden picks up the lead this time. Here comes C.J. Humphreys. Bill Nutter is next in line in car number 3. Little slip and slide through the greasy corners, as the drivers would say. But the lap is in as Ivan Warden, C.J. Humphreys, and now the number 3 car begins to make a move. Bill Nutter in the 360 out of Medford challenges C.J. Humphreys, but we've got a yellow. The 28 of Scott Gannett and 15H Pat Harvey. Parking on the back straightaway just on the edge of the infield. Warden picks them up. They have to stay outside of the cone. They cannot hit it. Everybody looking for a spot here now. We have Nutter diving underneath Humphreys, but then Humphreys gets the gas down as they come down the front straightaway. Ivan Warden off and running here is the number 3 car making his move. Bill Nutter of Medford, but C.J. Humphreys responds as we've got a fight for second. Look at who's moving up into 5th spot now. Howard Kading on the move as Kading has taken over 5th position. Howard now working up on the 10H of Borlock as he sweeps by Howard Kading into 4th position. And Howard's on the move. He's going to make a transfer bid here. He's got it in the bag, I guarantee you, as he's into the number 4 spot, trying to pull up on Nutter's number 3. Ivan Warden, C.J. Humphreys, Bill Nutter, and Howard Kading, the front 4. Nutter getting a little sideways. Kading tries to sweep by on the inside. He makes a wild dive into turn number 1, but he can't hang on to it. In fact, he's in trouble off the back stretch. Here he gets in just in front of Morlock, and Howard hang on to 4th. He gets it up awfully high in turn 4. It's a little too slick out there. Warden will reach the back of the grid before the 8 laps conclude, as the white flag will be out waving, indicating 1 lap to go. Final night, the Gold Cup Race of Champions for 1993. Warden comes up with slower cars. Humphreys closes up going to the final corner. Warden keeps it ducked down to the bottom, and it will be Ivan Warden, followed by C.J. Humphreys. Then comes Bill Nutter, and Howard Kading transfers once again. Then comes Morlock, McCurry, Tabor in the 36N, Brower in 12G, and completing the field will be 26 Larry Lightfoot and 10J Jerry Johnston. 10 laps of distance. Here we have a full race in front of them, so there's only 2 positions available, only 2 spots up for grabs as it stands right now, with everybody reporting for the D main. Pretty good looking start as they come down the front straightaway. Morgan outraced by Willie into turn number 1. Bradway breaks on into 3rd. Then comes Al Young. Al Cabanero tries to make a break for it in 5th, followed by Short in the number 12 car. Lap is in the books. Sounds like somebody may have had an exhaust problem, though, as they went by the first lap, with Willie and Morgan out front. Now problem for Al Young. He may have been the car that we could hear. Young gets off the racetrack. Looked like for a moment that C.J. Humphreys was headed for a collision course. Willie running a fine line now in his mount. Bradway's holding down 3rd, then comes Cabanero, Short, Ventura, Halley, Crockett, Richard Harvey Jr., and Kading trying to make up in yet another transfer position as he and Humphreys fight it out. Then comes Warden, Rosendahl, and Voigt. Voigt leaving the track now in the 39. He has problems, so Leo Voigt drops out and is off the racetrack. Leo Voigt with unknown problems. Ventura and Short go head-to-head. Ventura making a bid to the inside of Miles Short for 5th position as they go wheel-to-wheel and wing-to-wing. And this quarter mile here in Chico continues to be Gary Willie holding a sizable lead over Gary Morgan, Alan Bradway, and Jamie Cabanero as we trip off the 7th lap here at Silver Dollar in this E-main event during Gold Cup. This one going a 10-lap distance, so only 3 remain. And Willie will be scoring one of his bigger victories in Gold Cup action if he can pull this one off and make it to the D, as he runs very smoothly and superbly on this racetrack, showing some of that experience he has gained over the past seasons of running here. Willie is always here, camps right here in the grounds, works on his race car, prepares it. It's a small operation, not well-financed, and yet Gary Willie right now is about to score perhaps one of the bigger victories in his racing career, as he is well in front of this E-main event during the Gold Cup. And the checkered will be waving as he exits turn number 4. The winner from San Jose, Gary Willie. Second will go to Gary Morgan. Then comes 80 M. Bradley Cabanero, followed by the 83 Ventura. Short will be next in line. Halep comes Crockett next, and then I believe Kading is behind him. Now we see the exchange of the front row as we put Rust on the point. Shield goes to row 2. Cross on the outside. Off the turn they come this time. Nice looking start as the green does come out. Cross just scampering away as Shield and Rust fight for the number 2 spot. Then comes Esposito in the 99. Lap is completed. Allard and Graydon Cross make contact. Both continue somehow, though. Not for a moment there that somebody was in deep trouble, but they all continue on safely. So far, the class of this one has been Dale Cross and the Brand Downing Performance Engines number 9 as he runs out in front of the number 2N, driven tonight by Kyle Shield. Then comes the 4R of Ray Rust, 99 Tom Esposito, Ryan Bailey in the 17Bs, 33T Jim Trulli. As they come off of turn 4, and Bailey will take over the number 4 position. Dale Cross has them covered. Here comes Brian Bailey now working underneath Ray Rust as they go head-to-head down the front straightaway with 5 laps down. We'll be coming up at the midway point of this D main. Trouble down the backstretch. We have 2 cars tangled up. Bailey is one of them. Bailey is upside down in the 17B. Rust parks on the infield, calling for a tow truck for Rust. Well, first report is that he is moving around inside the car as they try to get it back on all 4. Boy, they're 3 abreast coming off the 4th corner as Hurst goes to the bottom of Trulli, and they go both after Esposito. Hurst gets around Trulli and is now in 4th spot. Esposito runs up in the 3rd position, and Hurst has set sail after the veteran driver, and Hurst fight it out for the next 2 positions. Now Hurst slides up and under Esposito. Does he hold it? Yes. Rick Hurst makes the pass and takes the Deschamps JB into the number 3 spot. White flag is out as Cross crosses the line. Then comes the number 2N of Kyle Shield, followed by Hurst and Esposito. Looks like it will stand that way. Cross going high through 3 and 4, makes it through there easily. Something thundering on his race car, however. Shield is next, then comes Hurst. Esposito will be 4th, followed by 33T, driven by Jimmy Trulli. 14F Monty Vicento is behind him, and I believe then 7N Tim Clausen. C-main time as we begin to narrow down the field. We're getting closer and closer to the big money pay down in the 40th Gold Cup Race of Champions. Wasina, Statler front row. Comes Rogers and Bonet as they come off of the turn. The green is out. Will it stay? Here so, we have a green light for our C-main event with Jason Statler, Mike Wasina Jr., Glenn Bonet scampering into the front 3 spots. Then the 1F of Gordon Rogers. As the cars begin to hike and bike, then Emery Gray, 9R Dave Roll, 91W Mike Wasina Sr. The problems for Bob Brook on the backstretch will bring the yellow flag out. Well, Statler picks up the pace quickly. Everybody else follows, but not a lot of change in any positions. Wasina struggling a little bit. Here comes Bonet, and Bonet will drop him into third spot. So Jason Statler, Glenn Bonet, Mike Wasina Jr. Then comes the 75S car. Next up, the machine driven by Dale Smith of Cottage Grove in the next position. Emery Gray chasing Smith as Rogers and Rule follow. Trouble here in the front stretch. We've got Hurst up in the air. Car's trying to make it around now, the 41S car, as he gets upside down directly on the front straightaway. Marvin Smith of Cottage Grove. Again, more primed and ready for continuation of this C feature. Statler picks it up going down the backstretch. Bonet is on the gas as well as we charge into the corner. Gordon Rogers is right there. Excuse me, no problems for Statler though as he comes to a stop here in the front stretch. Everybody scoots by. There is a time limit on this race. There has been a time limit all evening. Everybody's just slid underneath it so far. This race, though, not looking very good at this point with 3 laps. We'll see what happens as Bonet brings him down the backstretch. Here comes Emery Gray closing. And Wheel standing off the corner is Esposito. Bonet, though, out in front by a mile. Now Emery Gray ducks inside of Smith as they go into turn 3, and Emery Gray will take over third position. Remember again, the top 2 make the B main. Top 2 drivers to the B feature. Now as Rogers closes on Smith as well. Both Gray and Rogers running the bigger motors, so they have a shot at getting into that B main if they can pull through there. Gray wheel stands as he picks up some moisture through turn 2, and I mean he really hooked up hard as he kept again off of turn number 4. He's got his car set up to stick down to this racetrack. Choice these drivers have to make it. Emery just keeps on fighting it. Here comes Rogers challenging Smith as they go to turn 3, and Emery wheel standing trying to pull in Wasina. As Bonet continues to head this race, followed by the 7W, Wasina Jr., then comes Emery Gray. Only 2 laps will remain with this pass of the stand. 2 laps to go. Next time we'll see a white. Bonet setting up to go around Brook. Brook wheel stands off the corner. Bonet just slips underneath him. Here is Wasina still hanging on. Looks like he's eligible for the bonus here tonight. Again, these cars will be teched, however. And coming down to the checkered flag is Glenn Bonet. Here's your fight for second. It will be Wasina. Gray in trouble. Boy, I don't know how you're going to score that one. Gray across the track, and it was Rogers into the side of him in the 1 car, just nowhere to go, and Emery Gray is parked over there next to Wasina. Ford Pace Truck will come off on the backstretch. The Albertsons-sponsored Ford Pace Truck on the infield as we get set to go in this 20-lap B-main event. 4 cars make the feature. Here they come off the turn. Everybody on the throttle. Kinzer in a little trouble at the start. Green light is on. Will it stay on? Kinzer gets back to 4th quickly after leapfrogging off the turn. Jam up down here in turn 2 for a moment too, but we're underway with Pilot out in front. Now it's Bonet almost stopping the car. We've got the 17T of Henry stopped coming off of turn 4. He's in a precarious spot, and the yellow is waving. Green light comes on. Jimmy Sills trying to get out on top. Again, that hard hookup area over here in the corner really causing him some problems as everybody wheel stands coming down the front stretch, but the race is restarted and under green as Kevin Pilot again leads, followed by Steve Kinzer, Eric Rossi, Jimmy Sills, and Greg Brown as we get a lap in the books. Now 2 of them to be complete for our B feature during Gold Cup 93 here at Silver Dollar Speedway. Kevin Pilot out in front. Off goes one of the combatants into the pits. I believe it was Beitler. Yes, Steve Beitler dropping out in car number 21. Pilot opens up a 5 or 6 car length advantage over Scooter Lambert, who runs second. The remainder of the field now trying to gain some ground, but boy, Pilot opens it up. He will reach the back of the grid. It looks like about the 5th or 6th lap, however. Still with Lambert, Kinzer, Rossi, and Sills chasing. Sills trying to get into the top 4. He knows how important it is, and he would like to be in the Gold Cup this year. Sills, who still races basically as a profession, has to rely on his income for these types of programs, so he is going to be motivated all that much more, much the same as Steve Kinzer, who races professionally. Sills running a high line, though, lost some ground that last quarter of a mile to Rossi. In fact, he lost some ground to the next two. Off goes Bonet. Bonet dropping out in the 24 car. Sills now being chased by Bobby McMahon, who has moved around Greg Brown. Shane Scott is in the next position in car number 2S. Trouble on turn 2 between Danny Olmstead and Pat Rose, and we'll have a yellow. 2-car mix-up between Rose and the 22R and 88 Olmstead, a couple of the San Jose cars here this weekend. A lot of heavy hitters in this B feature with 8 down. Bobby McMahon into the wall, keeps going somehow. And there is Kinzer with a flat tire, and the yellow is out. My goodness, this is not typical Steve Kinzer. Kinzer with a flat tire. 8 laps into this, McMahon stops over by the work area, but his car has to be badly damaged. He really tagged the wall here in the front straightaway. Sills and him got together. Kinzer got the left rear, and they've got a push vehicle over there, and Steve's just saying, give me a push. He's not going for any of that fancy tow stuff. Just get me over there where the crew can get a fresh tire on here. Get a feel for the racetrack, wait for the leaders to get going, and then he's going to have to pick it up quickly. Pilot, Lambert now, and Rossi, followed by Jimmy Sills. Here comes Shane Scott working outside of Greg Brown as they go into turn 4, and Shane Scott is off and running. Kinzer getting the feel of his car before he takes off. Here comes Shane Scott making a move in the 2S as he is into 5th spot. Scott trying to track down Jimmy Sills as they come down the front stretch. Sills working on Eric Rossi, and Steve Kinzer takes the 11 car to the pits. His weekend is over. Kinzer will not transfer to the Gold Cup Race of Champions. 10 laps down this 20-lap race. Kevin Pilot, Scooter Lambert, Eric Rossi, and Jimmy Sills chased by Shane Scott and Greg Brown. Scott running right up on the ragged edge on top. Brown is next, then Jerry Bonema, Mark Hall, Danny Olmstead, then comes Mike Wasina Jr. and 24 Glenn Bonet. Scott down here near the wall now. He recovers, but Brown gets around him. Shane tries to reel it in, but he's going to have to go some now to make up as Bonham also zooms by. Pilot still out front by a ton. Then comes Lambert, Rossi, Sills, Brown, Jerry Bonema, Shane Scott, Mark Hall, Mike Wasina, and Glenn Bonet now with the 14th lap going on the Pepsi scoreboard on the back straightaway. Pilot finding his car just a little bit into the turn, seems to have lost some ground now to Scooter Lambert. Off the end goes Shane Scott, but he's okay. Scott's off the racetrack, but he stops it down there. There's no problem. Scott stays on all 4 wheels, and the yellow flag is out. Pilot takes them down into turn 3. They really bunch up, though, coming off. Pilot has the horsepower department cornered as they get going on the front stretch. Kevin Pilot Scooter Lambert. Here's Rossi and Sills now fighting it out for the next 2 spots. Greg Brown, your first alternate, then Jerry Bonema, Danny Olmsted, Mark Hall. Bossina is in the next spot. He's had a busy night. Followed by Bonet in the 24 car, who's gone to the pits. You can see how hard the cars are hooking up as they go through the corner. Sills now having a shot at Rossi as they exit turn 4. But Milan has had him covered through the entire event. Lambert, Rossi, and Sills still running the next 3 spots. White flag comes out. We've just got 1 lap to go. Kevin Pilot, an easy run in tonight's B features. He pockets the victory, chased by Scooter Lambert in car number 1C. 98X Eric Rossi, 7 Jimmy Sills, and 44 Greg Brown. So there you have it. Keeping the hopes alive for Down Under tonight in car number 94, coming from Sydney, Australia, in the local DeCaros car. He starts right near his teammate, of course, hoping for the very best is Robert Farr. On the inside of him, the former Golden State champion, of course, he's also won almost every other title in California. As we get set to tour the World of Outlaw Copenhagen School Shootout Sprint Cars here at Silver Dollar Speedway, it's our pleasure to offer the best in the country in this 4-day run and 3-day World of Outlaw program and this 40th anniversary historic Gold Cup Race of Champions. Let's wish them off in grand fashion, in grand style, as they go wing to wing and side by side in groups of 4. The quartet's the best in sprint car racing. Join us for this historic Gold Cup showdown. Add to 17R Randy Tyner, 97 Aaron Berryhill, 24K Chuck Miller, 29 Johnny Herrera, 4A Greg Hodnett, 7TW Jeff Swindell, and then bring in our transferring cars, including 3P. Of course, winner of our B main event, Kevin Pilot, along with 1C Scooter Lambert, 98X Eric Rossi, and car number 7, Jimmy Sill. Watch the drivers bring them in gently. Here they are off the corner. What happens this time? Much better looking start. They will come out on top as they head to the corner. Smith on the bottom, Kading on the top. There they go down the backstretch. It's Smith. Stevie Smith picks up the lead. Kading goes into second as he wheel stands off of turn number 4. Here comes Randy Hannigan and Daryl Hannestead. A lot of talent packed back in that field as we're underway here at Silver Dollar with Stevie Smith, the lead driver in car number 77. Smith charges down the chute with Kading in tow. Here comes Hannigan. Watch for DeCaros and Sammy Swindell trying to come through that pack. Hillenberg is there as well as Swindell breaks away from DeCaros down the backstretch. Smith is off and running. Kading running a solid second. Hannigan is third. The previous 2 nights, the drivers went out in front on the first lap, won the races. They went all the way. As we get a pass now on the backstretch of Kenny Jacobs around Daryl Hannestead, or excuse me, Jack Hodenschild passed him. Miss Jacobs, he was further back. Continues to be the run now as Smith comes up in traffic. Stevie Smith will be in traffic on the 5th lap. The 5th lap, the point of traffic as they encounter Smith, Kading. Then comes Hannigan and Hodenschild now. Correction there. Hodenschild in 4th spot, followed by Daryl Hannestead. Then comes Hillenberg, Swindell, DeCaros, and Blaney. Now Blaney making a move to the top. Red flag is out. Tim Green on the backstretch, the cause of the red, as Green has the 14 car parked off the back straightaway. The front end crumpled up. The wing is loose, and we've got a red flag stopping the action in the early going of this Gold Cup Championship race. Okay, we're ready to go here for Gold Cup. A little extra activity as we're set going down the backstretch. Hodenschild on top. Here he comes. Can he pull off Hannigan? Yes. Jack Hodenschild into 3rd spot as he gets around Hannigan. And the restart flag is out with Stevie Smith racing in the lead. Here comes Hod all the way on top, though. Hodenshaw working on Kading as they come off the turn. We've got Scooter Lambert taking the 1C car off the racetrack, and Lambert is off far enough that no flag will be needed. Stevie Smith, Jack Hodenshaw tracing the back of the black 69 as he tries to pull in Brent Kading. Kading running second. Hannigan is now fourth. Then comes Darrell Hannestead, Andy Hillenberg, Dave Blaney, Greg DeCaris, Paul McMahon, Kenny Jacobs, and Jeff Swindell. Now 8 laps deep into this Gold Cup Race of Champions, and Smith again will be approaching traffic. As he did the first half a dozen, he comes charging through the field after the red flag for Tim Green. Smith up and passing the 98X car of Rossi as he goes down a lap. Rossi losing a lap to the leader. Smith now working through lap traffic very cleanly as Kading keeps pace. Hodenshaw has dropped behind Kading slightly. Kading trying everything and every possible trick in his playbook, but so far Smith is the class of the field. Now working on Greg Hodnett as Hodnett races him down into turn number 3, and Hodnett is down a lap in the 4A car. Kading is going to have to make equally as good a choices with both Hodenshaw and Hannigan on the hunt here, and he will not be able to dilly-dally in any one position. Smith up and out of the groove over here in turn number 4, but Kading is nowhere close to make a bid. Still a long ways to go in this race as Brent Kading comes up on Eric Rossi as they go down to turn 3. Kading on the bottom. Here comes Hodenshaw on top. Hannigan trying to regain the 3rd spot. Then comes Hannestead, Hillenberg, Blaney, DeCaris, McMahon. Looks like a right rear tire going flat on Jacobs' number 71M. 97 Berryhill off the edge trying to avoid the flat tire on Jacobs' car. Got the go-ahead signal once again. Lap car in between Smith and Kading this time. It's Hodnett. Kading runs up on top to pull around Hodnett. Here comes Hodenshaw trying to roar up on Hannigan. Hodenshaw out of the groove slightly. Oh, Hannigan bikes it over in turn number 4. Hodenshaw trying to regain the number 3 spot that Hannigan had stolen away. And they're going at it now for the battle there. Currently, Stevie Smith, Brent Kading, Randy Hannigan, Jack Hodenshaw, and Darrell Hannestead, Andy Hillenberg, and Dave Blaney. Here goes Little Jack again on top as he wheels past Hannigan once again and now pulls in to the side of Hodnett, and looks like he will put a lap on the 4A car. And Hodenshaw now has some running room as he'll try to pull up on Kading. We'll be at the halfway point with the next pass of this stand. The next time Stevie Smith passes Greg DeCaris' flag stand, we'll have 20 laps to go. Halfway through this feature run here at Silver Dollar Speedway. Drivers now jockeying for those crucial positions with the high dollars attached to them. The Gold Cup Race of Champions in its 40th edition here tonight continues to be Smith on a rampage. Now in traffic, goes around Aaron Berryhill in the 97 and laps Steve Kent in the 11K. Both drivers down on markers. They come down the front stretch. Kading still keeping pace. A distant third is Hodenshaw. Then comes the 1 of Hannigan, followed by Hannestead, Hillenberg, Blaney, DeCaris, and then comes Paul McMahon. Kading is going to have to work through traffic now. Randy Tyner was slowed up there for a moment. There's an awful lot of traffic now directly in front of our leader. Kading goes to the top of the racetrack trying to look for an opening, goes around Kent's 11K. Kent apparently with a problem. This is not typical Kent style. You can see now Smith trying to work his way through traffic, but boy, there's a bunch of it directly in front of him. Kading now up on Berryhill. Berryhill right in front of Kading. Kading now trying to come down on the 3P of Pilot. Brent goes to the top of the racetrack. Here comes Hodenshaw closing though. Jack Hodenshaw in this exchange has gained about 4 or 5 car lengths. Kading now around Pilot as they go down the backstretch, but Little Jack is right there as well. Stevie Smith up behind the 94 Aussie, joining us far at 29 Herrera. Keating and Hodenshaw now locked in a fight for second. As Brent goes to the bottom of the racetrack, Hodenshaw still runs on top. Hannigan is next. Here comes Blaney, who has broken around Hannestead and is chasing Hannigan at this stage of the game. And Keating trapped down on the bottom. Here comes Little Jack on top. The Pennzoil 22 trying to reel in as now and Smith is tagged by far as they go down the backstretch. We don't know if it was serious or not, but there was very considered some contact back there. We don't know how much. Waiting to see. Looks like everything's okay. It was on the left front of Smith's. Still, your fight continues for second between Brent Keating, Jack Hodenschild. Now Blaney around Hannigan into fourth. Keating around Sills. Hodenschild's right there as well. Now up into traffic around Jacobs 71, or at least an attempt to pull up on Jacobs. Here comes Hodenschild working on Brent as they go wheel to wheel down the backstretch. Brent Keating and Jack Hodenschild locked in a fight for second. Stevie Smith still out front by a mile. Little Jack on top, BK on the bottom. The battle is for second as Stevie Smith is out in front now with 34 laps down. Smith setting a torrid pace as he has through the entire California Tour. Stevie Smith locked on this Gold Cup championship. He's the man to watch here tonight as BK continues to hold off Little Jack Hodenschild, but Keating cannot get around Kenny Jacobs. Now Smith goes around Paul McMahon down the backstretch. Keating still watching Jacobs and Herrera through the turns. Jack looking for any opening. The only thing that could upset this would be an error by Smith or a collision as he roars up and around McMahon's 2M. Continuing on this rampage is Stevie Smith. It looks like the Gold Cup Championship is going to be added to his list of credentials as he roars around Chuck Miller. Smith coming down the front chute will have 2 laps to go with this pass of the stand, a little wheel stand by the 77 car. Here comes Keating now around Herrera, but there is not enough time to make up the distance as Smith will go the distance coming down for the white flag. Stevie Smith down at turn number 1. We're going to have a new Gold Cup champion. Keating is still holding on to second. Into the corner they come, and Smith on the top of the racetrack. It will be Stevie Smith in car 77. Next in line will be Brent Keating, followed by Jack Hodenschild. Then Dave Blaney in 4th position. Daryl Hannestead 5th, Randy Hannigan, Andy Hillenberg, and I believe Jeff Swindell, but that is a very unofficial order as they cross the line. But as he has done the entire California Tour, he has dominated action, and here tonight he posts perhaps his biggest career win as far as stature, money, and of course status as he becomes a brand new Gold Cup champion here at Silver Dollar Speedway in car number 77, Stevie Smith. Smith will be followed by Brent Keating, Jack Hodenschild, Dave Blaney, and the 71N of Daryl Hannestead, unofficially in the top 5 positions. And of course, we'll be going downstairs now to Bob Gerald. Bob?
Oh, a very happy crew down here. He has dominated the California World of Outlaw Tour. He started it off at Santa Maria with a big win. He got the win at King Speedway in Hanford. He got the win at San Jose on both nights. And now he gets out of the car after starting on the front row tonight. A fine job by Stevie Smith from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. His helmet is off right now, and he can appreciate it, race fans. He's got to come around here to the front side. A $20,000 win, a very prestigious victory for Stevie Smith in the Gold Cup Race of Champions, the 40th annual. Getting hugs and congratulations from Al Hamilton and Moon and Devin and the whole crew, and we're going to get them up here on the 40th annual Gold Cup podium here in just a minute to take some pictures and to do an interview. Stevie Smith, your feature winner here tonight at the Gold Cup. And we got helicopters and dust flying and all kinds of stuff. Stevie, congratulations. We talked so much all this week about the California Tour for you this year, and this has got to be just the icing on the cake.
Oh, this is the best time of my career. We're really thankful for everything we've got going here. I've thanked everyone so far. I've thanked the team. I've thanked the car owner, the car builder, the mechanics. There is one guy I haven't thanked yet, and he's a big reason why we've been going fast, and that's Bob Kreiner, that builds the Kreiner Racing engines. And it's his birthday today, and I tried to win it for his birthday, and everything went good for us.
It sure did. Right from the very start of the race, you and Brent Kading on the front row, and you got off to a start from there. And then did you experience any problems at all during the race?
Well, a lot of times you get out there in the lead like I was. I started to lay down and keep on the bottom, and I could feel the car getting slower and slower. So when we got to lap cars, I moved up to try it, and it actually felt faster. So we were able to move around the racetrack, and it's just a lot of the credit goes to the car and the guys working on it. It makes it a whole lot more fun for the driver.
Now, you've won some big races in your career. Where's this one going to rank on the list?
This is number 1 right now.
Yes, sir. $20,000 at the 40th Annual Gold Cup Race of Champions. Stevie, you guys have got still a long road ahead of you here for the rest of the season. The World of Outlaws point title is something that's still got to be in the back of your head because you got a shot, and the way you've been running lately, I tell you what, you're gaining some ground.
Well, I know we still have a shot. Dave and Steve really run well, and there's a couple guys right behind us too. So if we keep running well, hopefully we'll hold on to third or maybe have a chance of winning. But it seems like the more races and the tighter my crew gets, the harder them two work. So they're doing a great job.
Congratulations once again to you and Al and Moon and Devin and the whole team down here. You guys have worked hard and you deserve to be here. Congratulations once again. Stevie Smith, your Gold Cup champion for 1993, the 40th Annual. John Pageant and our queens, our Gold Cup queens, are going to jump up in here and get in the pictures as they continue to do some handshaking down here. $20,000 going to Stevie Smith. Of course, that is the richest prize in the history of the Gold Cup Race of Champions. Coming up through the race tonight, I know traffic was a big problem for a lot of different guys. You look like you were able to work probably both on the bottom and up on the top. We saw you using both lanes to get up there and passing people.
Yeah, we were real nice. I think maybe I just drove a little too conservative early, and Stevie was just going for it. And I don't know, I was thought we might have a tear-off problem, and I just kind of cruised around, and Hod woke me up there at the end, and we got to put a little bit of a show on because Stevie Smith was running off with it. But we're going to be pleased with this and come back next year. We're going to try to win this thing. Maybe John will pay $25,000 next year.
Well, I don't know. John Pageant says, hey, wait a minute. He's stepping over here to offer congratulations. Second place and a heck of a job all week long to Brent Kading and the Los Gatos Body Shop crew and car number 69. Good job, guys. Here he is, Jack Hodenshield, the wild child, in car number 22. And Jack, congratulations. I know a racer's deal is anytime he comes forward in a feature event, he feels pretty good about it, and you definitely did that tonight. Congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot. The car is really working good, and I just want to thank Pennzoil people and Jack Eldon, my car owner. We got a real good race car, and everything's going good. We haven't been able to win many races this year, but I think we're gonna win some races yet this year or next year.
Well, you did win that big one, the $100,000 win. So I guess if you were going to win one, that would be the one to win. Jack, you're always exciting, and you get up there on the top of the racetrack tonight. You just get in kind of a zone up there, and you just feel like you're unstoppable.
Well, sometimes the car just felt good up there, so that's where we run, and that's where we can pass cars.
All right, well, congratulations to you once again. A fine job and a third-place finish here at the Gold Cup. The 40th Annual Jack Hodenshield, your third-place finisher this evening. Brent Kading is second, and once again, the Gold Cup champion is Stevie Smith from New Oxford, Pennsylvania. Everything is about concluded down here in Victory Lane. We'll have a final run down here for you in a moment. And also